Greetings. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Book Report. Today I'm going to talk about two very different kinds of books. One is a book that would be classified as self-help or management, and the other one is on prehistory. And what I have in common with these two books is that on two separate occasions I got to have dinner with the authors. The first book is one that I urge everyone to read who wants to get things done, with the appropriate title, Getting Things Done by Dave Allen. This book came out some years ago. The most recent one was 2015. And although there are so many books out there on making the most of your time, making the most of your day, and getting things done, this actually works. Now, since I got into this system some years ago, quite a few years ago, it's become almost a training program. To be honest with you, almost a cult. There's groups of people that get together to talk about it when it's actually quite a simple process. Now, this is attributed to Albert Einstein, like so many things that may or may not have been really his, but one of the things that's been talked about in the years is he never remembered anything. He always wrote things down. That's because the brain is a central processing unit. It's not meant to remember too much. I mean, it needs to know enough to function, but trying to remember that you're going to be seeing your doctor 2 weeks from now on Thursday at 2 in the afternoon, trying to remember all that is not going to be very efficient. Now, Mr. Allen, I had dinner with him in Tokyo. I don't remember the exact year offhand. It was the early 2000s. He was looking to set up his business in that country, and I was with somebody who he had been in touch with, and I got to go out and have dinner and talk. A very, very nice man. A very simple man. He just came across as a typical business guy who wanted to make his life more efficient. He was also a student of martial arts. And this is where a lot of people fall down in organizing themselves. They don't understand that it's not a matter of time management, it's a matter of energy management. Now, one of my karate teachers back in the day was visiting me, and he was in my house, and he was upstairs. I could hear him walking around, and the floorboards moving to his footsteps. And I was in the kitchen. I think I was making something to eat. And I stopped hearing him, and I just, he maybe went to sleep or something. And then a few minutes later, there's a tap on my shoulder, and I just jumped. He had come down the stairs and walked across the room, and he had not made a single sound. And he did so as a way of teaching me a lesson. And I said, "How could you do that?" And he said, "Simple. Making noise is a waste of energy." It was a principle of martial arts training, which is a totally different topic, but the idea is not to waste energy. Not so much time. Time is going to keep going no matter what, but not to waste your energy. Now, the book Getting Things Done, which is available in Audible, it's available in all these different formats, and there's all sorts of software that you can get for it now. It works on the basic principle of martial arts, using very little energy to accomplish the most. It's not how much you do, though, it's how much you get done, right? People that are in the office 13, 14 hours, if they don't get as much stuff done as somebody who's there for 3 hours, well, what's the point? It's kind of the opposite of virtue signaling. It's like labor signaling or something. Maybe we should come up with a term for that. The principle is this. Every time you think of something, you write it down, get it on a list. Don't try to remember it, or I'll write that down a little bit later. You'll forget it. Believe me. Some people have apps on their phones where if you come up with an idea or a thought, you immediately record it, it goes onto a list. And then once a week, usually on a Sunday evening or something, you go through all of your needed tasks. And then you organize them and you determine what needs to be done. There's another principle as well. If it takes only a few minutes to do something, do it immediately. If it takes more than a few minutes, and I believe it's 3 minutes, you postpone it. You plan things out. Your life is one big to-do list because that's exactly what it is. One joke I've always had with people is that if I wake up in the morning and there's nothing on my to-do list, it means I've died. Now, this is a book that really, really, really improved my life a great deal, and I was able to get so much done, and I live by it. I'm not to the level that it's gone where people are going off and becoming certified and getting things done, procedures or things like that. I think that's a little over the top, with all due respect to Mr. Allen. It's a great book and a great system. He goes out and does speeches on this, which I can understand. The world is an exceedingly complex place these days. It's complicated and it's complex. Both are two different words. I would go off to a dictionary and check that out. We have so much that we need to do and so little time to do it. Remember, there's only 1,440 minutes in a day. That's not much time. But what matters is what gets done in the end of the day. So I would recommend this book strongly. I go through it about every year or two, just for the fun of it. There are other supplemental systems in place, but that's pretty much capitalization on the theme. But if people want to have a better life with less stress, again, if you don't remember things, if you just have them written down and recorded, it's going to take an awful lot of stress out of your life. An awful lot. Again, the book is Getting Things Done by Dave Allen. Last edition that came out was from 2015, Penguin Books. It's available on all the usual formats. Now, the next book, which is a lot more fun to read, is written by a man who's become world famous. He was very famous at the time I met him, and he's now become a household word. And this is Graham Hancock, and the book is Fingerprints of the Gods, which originally came out in 1995. I got to meet the gentleman. I had dinner with Mr. Hancock and his wife in Tokyo at the Foreign Correspondents Club. I believe that was 1996 or so, not too long after this book came out. He was in Japan with another book, I believe. In fact, there were so many people in that country buying his books that his publisher was able to buy their own building in the city of Tokyo. That was at the height of the real estate bubble, amazing amount of money. I found him to be quite a gentleman. He worked for The Economist newspaper, which was a much better publication then than it is now, if you ask me. And he was based in Eastern Africa, and he got into the Ark of the Covenant mystery, and he went on from there. Now, this is a very good book to read if you want to digest, and even though it's a very thick book, it's still a digest, on the theory that there was a advanced civilization of some sort prior to this one. In other words, 10, 12,000 years ago, something happened and things were reset. And this is not a new idea. This has been talked about since ancient times with the legend of Atlantis and a few other places. When I sat down with Mr. Hancock that day, we were comparing notes because I was into this stuff as well, although he was quite a prolific author on it. And we were talking about how almost every culture in the world has a flood myth about the same time and all sorts of fun things. This book also goes into all of the original theories from around the world. It goes into Egypt, it goes into India, South America, everything. Now, I would recommend, if you can still get it, the hardback, like I have. I have a first edition. I believe it's the 5th printing of the first edition from 1995. And I was shocked to find out how valuable these things are, pleasantly, but I have no intention of selling mine. And it's very, very well illustrated. Now, there are a lot of people in mainstream academia that poo-poo this sort of stuff. Well, there's a big reason for that. A lot of academics don't want anything to change because If suddenly everything is new in their department, they're not really as valuable as they used to be, which means their tenure could be in danger, et cetera, et cetera. Over the decades, he has expanded on this research in all sorts of interesting directions. In fact, to the point that he is now, I would say, a certified mystic. He was on Joe Rogan not that long ago, and I would recommend that interview. It was actually quite fascinating. The thing that is always good, though, is to go back to the origin of where certain material came from. He is not the only one who's done research in this department. He has been one of those who has pushed it. I mean, the origin of the Great Pyramids. Were they tombs? No, I don't think they were, and there's a lot of evidence to point to they were either some sort of mechanism or an initiation chamber, or were used as an initiation chamber. That's in there, and that's well documented. The book is very well researched and very well footnoted, as is all of his material. And it's a fun book to read. We're living in a world right now where there are too many question marks, and we're kind of wondering who we are, where we came from, why we're here. Those are important questions to ask. And if we ask those questions every day, I think the earth would be in a lot better shape. I think our country would be in a lot better shape. I think all of us would be in a lot better shape. So Mr. Hancock's been able to take that with his career, and much of it started with this book. This was the book that really launched him. He had done a couple earlier, but this one really was the result of an awful lot of quality journalism in its way. In spite of all the arrows he's taken over the years, I have the greatest respect for him as a writer and as a journalist. This would be something fun to read these days, which is why I pulled it off my shelves. Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock. It's put out by Crown Publishers. They did a reprint, I believe, in 2012. I was sad to find that it's no longer available up on Amazon and other places in hardback. I would urge people to try to seek out and get a copy of it in hard copy. It's on Kindle, but with all the beautiful photographs and graphics and things like that, they don't make books like this much anymore. Those are two good books for you to add to your list that will hopefully make your life a lot more pleasant and a lot more mysterious. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like and subscribe and share, and consider a paid subscription. I can be reached up at Substack. My address there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. That's aureliancolumn.substack.com. I'm on several social media outlets. You can also send me a direct message at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember to keep reading. Good day.